your most recent release, Knock Knock, is not only a full-length album, but a visual album with music videos for each track. It's quite an impressive feat. I was wondering how much production and planning actually went into all that.
Yeah, so a lot is the short answer. A lot of production and planning. So I started working on the music in late 2019. Well, actually, early 2019. And then it was just kind of a collection of random songs and little snippets of things here and there that I'd been experimenting with. And then the pandemic actually gave me the opportunity, because I was home all the time, as we all know, to start really experimenting with production and getting a little more, having fun with the electronic kind of production stuff that I hadn't really played with before. So the music was very organic. There wasn't, there was no planning in terms of how the music came about. It was kind of just experimentation and just having fun. The visual component, like the planning of all of that, really happened. It started happening in the summer of 2020. So it was a lot of planning, but it happened in a pretty short amount of time. I would say probably over like 2 months, all the planning happened for all the music videos, and then we executed it. My friend Oscar Keys and I, OK Keys, executed it over the course of like 6 months. So yeah.
So the album's a very emotive and introspective vibe to it. Do you find that's difficult to put yourself out there like that?
It's funny, a lot of people ask me this question, and I don't at all. It's never, I think I'm just a very open person.
You find it
Maybe,
like cathartic at all?
yeah, definitely. Music is therapy for me, so that's how I express my feelings, and it's how I kind of figure out what I'm feeling, because a lot of the times it's not easy to know what's actually going on. And so when I sit down and I start to write music, it just kind of comes out. And it's a way for my subconscious to kind of speak to me freely. Because otherwise, we put up all these barriers that kind of stop us from exploring the scary, unknown things. So music helps me explore that. But I don't find it difficult to put it out there for other people, because I just feel like it's helpful.
Cool. I was watching the video for Cliffside. I noticed both thematic and visual similarities to the indie platformer Celeste. Was that an inspiration or just a coincidence?
I don't know, because I remember after Coming of Age, which was my first album, came out, somebody actually told me about Celeste and thought I might enjoy it. And I know I bought it at some point, but I didn't really play it. And I didn't consciously know about it while I was writing Cliffside or planning it, but I'm sure it was probably subconsciously in there somewhere, because after I made Cliffside, remembered about Celeste and I played it again and I was like, oops. Like, what? This is so similar. Yeah, the strawberry and everything. So.
Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed your use of layering throughout the album, whether it was multi-track vocals or blending different video clips. Your use of layering always seemed to have great intention behind it. I was wondering how you managed to strike the balance between adding depth to a concept and keeping it focused.
Adding depth and maintaining focus. I feel like that relates to this idea of, one thing I always struggled with in art class in high school was I would add and add and add and add, and my art teacher at some point would always be like, "You've added too much. You've gone too far. You gotta peel it back a little bit." And I think the way that I avoid adding too much now, after practicing that a lot, is by taking a step back. So working on a little bit of a video and then taking a break, or the music even, or whatever, any kind of art, you have to do a little bit of work, take a step back, go do something else for a few minutes or a few hours or a few days, and then kind of reassess with fresh eyes and with a fresh spirit, so you can kind of ingest what you've made, and let it speak to you and let the work tell you what it wants. I think that was a really important lesson from this album.
And speaking of your work in general, for like layering and whatnot, for what inspired the frankly mesmerizing opener to your track "Only Human"?
Yeah, that was so the kind of like a cappella vocal
Yeah, that.
layering. I I do a lot of random singing in my car, and I just randomly sang those like weird syllables one day in my car. I recorded it, and it just kept coming back to me. Like in the shower, I would think of it, and then eventually, the syllables kind of sounded to me like the words "You're not supposed to go," and I just kind of kept playing with it and tinkering with it until it became a weird vocal track. So I kind of liked it. Yeah.
Nice. And I realize I'm a little late to the party, seeing that Knock Knock was released back in August of last year. I was wondering, now that you've had a bit of time to reflect on the whole process of creating a visual album, is there any new perspective or insights that you kind of gathered from the whole experience?
Yes. So I already said this before, but the biggest lesson I learned from this project was to trust in the work and let the work tell you what it wants. The case for pretty much every music video was we're working with so much technology and so many like experimental methods that I hadn't really played with before that there were a lot of glitches, there was a lot of troubleshooting, there were a lot of errors, and rather than just getting frustrated and giving up on a project, it was really about like, okay, well, what is the technology trying to tell us here? Like, what is this glitch actually trying to tell us or show us? And being open to playing with the messiness of that process, I think was really lent itself to the magic that you kind of see in the videos. So it feels more like a dance between like my voice and the voice of the technology rather than, me just using it as a tool.
Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
Um, well, I'm working on a video game album coming up soon, so more technology experimentation. It will be an actual video game where people collect stems and build songs in a cave, and it will be exploring the life of a famous photographer from the Victorian era. So,
Sounds pretty cool.
yeah.
All right, cool, thanks.
Cool. All right.
Well, now, where can we find the album?
You can find Knock Knock on bandcamp.com. Wait. elizabethowens.bandcamp.com. And you can stream it anywhere. So, Elizabeth Owens.